We are live for Empire State of Baseball on this Monday, August the 4th, 2025, for episode number 135, airing on Instagram, X, and YouTube, and as always, powered by StreamYard. And there are the quartet we call Empire State of Baseball here on a Monday evening, 8 o'clock p.m. here on the East Coast. And good to see Corey, Joe, and Tom. Hopefully a little bit more settled compared to where we were on Thursday, because Joe, Thursday was absolutely chaotic with our ESB Live covering the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, one of, if not the busiest and most hectic trade deadlines I can remember. And it's weird because not many superstar players moved, if any at all, but there were there were dozens of trades that came in when we were on the air and dozens before that. So it was great time. We had like 850 people in the building at the time. So it really was an amazing show. And you guys helped us get to 500 subscribers. So that's huge. So we're going to do a giveaway. We're not 100% sure when, but we're going to get that giveaway going. And we're going to figure out how to thank you all for helping us get there.
100%. Corey Favs, it was, like Joe mentioned beautifully, I might add, it was a historic week for ESB. He mentioned the live sub count, the sub count up to 500, the live view, which I think was exactly 842. You also had another accomplishment over on Instagram, another reel cracking over 1 million views there, Corey. Great work as always.
No, I appreciate it. It was a really, really big week last week, both for us and baseball itself with the deadline. And I mean, it's only fitting that we had our biggest show last Thursday. We had our biggest tweet in terms of interactions and retweets and likes. We had another 1 million view reel, and the deadline itself. I mean, during that live stream last week, we saw more moves in the first 30 minutes of our show last week than typical deadlines themselves. I mean, typically, I feel like a big MLB trading deadline, maybe you get 3 or 4 big moves and a couple of smaller ones sprinkled in, and that's about it. I mean, we were getting move. We couldn't keep up with the moves. That's how quick they were getting announced. So, really big week last week. It was a fun week.
And Tom, one of the big things that was done last week, as announced on Thursday, is we added a new member to the ESB family that kicked off the Thursday show. You want to remind the audience of who that new family member is?
No, because I got to bring an issue up with Corey first. Corey, love the new wheel, but how did you ruin and mess up? When I saw you spun Oklahoma, I'm like, here we go. We're getting Mickey Mantle. You get outfield, and you don't choose Mickey Mantle. What are you doing?
Because it was left field specifically.
He played left field at some points of his career.
At some point, he did. I mean, any other scenario, it would have been Mickey Mantle.
Well, I can't think Corey made a bad choice
here.
How many
Corey,
games
what was did he play in left field? That's the question.
He's Mickey Mantle. He can play left field.
Wait. I know it was a long day. Corey, who did you go with in left field?
Hall of Famer, Willie Stargell, an actual left fielder.
That's pretty good. It's Willie Stargell.
But I think a Mantle is
you have extra outfield slots. You could have, whoever was in center field, you could kick him to the bench for Mickey Mantle.
Tom,
he's one of the most talented players who's ever played baseball.
I hate to agree with Corey. Do you know how many games Mickey Mantle played in left field in his career?
I don't care. He can play left field. He
played 129. He's not a left field.
It is
fair to Corey. He's not a 100.
And whatever old corpse you had in center field, kick him to the bench. Put Mantle in center.
Corey. Well, we're gonna get there. We're still
beside myself.
If it was center field, I'd agree with you, Tom.
Oh yeah.
field. Mickey Mantle played 120 games in left field. I can't
Let's
tell
put it
you.
this
he's
way.
a left
Let's put it
field.
this way, Joe. If we get New York and third base comes out, you know what? David Wright's kicking his ass to the bench, and A-Rod's going to third base. Like, that's what you do. You make moves. You make smart moves.
No,
on your
A-Rod
right.
should be a shortstop.
Well, depends how that wheel
Well,
spins.
but if you spun third base, you kick David Wright to the bench and you put A-Rod at third. That's what you do.
Tom is
already have
completely
him.
going off the wall here. The big announcement we made on Thursday when we opened up the show is that we introduced Keith to the Empire State of Baseball family. So he'll be a part of our content team here. He's going to be joining the ESB NYM folks over there with Corey and Joe over on X. So you get to hear, get some tweets from posts from Keith in that mix. He's also going to be hosting some spaces over at the over at ESB NYM, pretty reflective of what we're currently doing with ESB NYY. We'll have more announcements on them over the next couple days as we kind of figure out the whole scheduling, the title of the shows, all that good stuff. But Keith joined the family officially on Thursday, so he is a part of Empire State of Baseball. But that big trade deadline episode was historic, as everybody kind of pointed out, obviously with the exception of Tom, you don't want to do a job there. But if you want to go check it out, go check out our ESB Live from this past Thursday on the 31st on YouTube. That's where all our archived episodes are, so it's up there. So make sure to go check it out because it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun having that reel of X kind of go, just keep updating throughout the show as we were getting live news, because there were times where you could see me just like look away for a second and look right back like, oh, wait, there was something there that just caught my – so like crazy stuff. Awesome show. Make sure to check it out. Tom, head back over to you. Let's talk about Roback.
Let's talk about Roback. I'm not going to mess this one up for you, Richard. Roback is coming out. One of our good friends in the chat, Swift, had pointed it out today on Twitter. Roback is expanding on their game day collection, their college collection. They have added a bunch of new schools. A bunch of new ones are coming out this year, and other ones being restocked. Swift interested in the Gamecocks of South Carolina. A lot of, college football is just around the corner. So if you're looking to rep one of your, maybe your alma mater or just a school you're a fan of, really cool. Again, polos, Q-zips, hoodies, head over to roback.com. Again, some stuff's out now. Some stuff is coming out later in the month. They're also starting to roll out their fall collection. I know it is already, it's still summer, but the fall, the pumpkin spice is coming out. Rich is excited about it. And the fall collections are starting to come out with Roback as well. So if you're looking to get a little bit more into, those tones, maybe some darker tones, maybe not as bright like you would in the summer. I'll be honest, I'm looking through it right now, seeing some really cool stuff going on in that fall collection that I know I'd have my eye on. Head over to roback.com, use promo code TWASPL15 and get yourself 15% off of your order.
You mentioned in the fall, man, that just it's music to my ears. So while you're out there on either August the 20th at Dunkin' or August the 26th at Starbucks for the debut of the fall season menus, you gotta be wearing some Roback apparel while you're doing that. With all the fall attire that Tom just mentioned, head over to roback.com. TWASPL15 is the code. Thank you for that, Thomas. And let's get into our Roback rundown. And we're going to show some love to our crowd here as we got about 50 people in the building. We barely got started. For our Roback rundown tonight, we have a special segment that is returning. It's been a while since we did it, since Memorial Day weekend. Obviously, we have the Empire Express, Book It, Defining Moments, our game today. But in the middle of all that, we have our returning checkpoint. This time, we're going to be covering the midseason mark of the checkpoint. We're 2/3 of the way there. Corey Favs, dating back to that Memorial Day episode when we were talking about that first checkpoint of the season, things were pretty much optimistic on both fronts. This time around, a little bit less. Maybe more for your side than our side. It's a complete 180 for the New York Yankees. That's going to be later on tonight as everybody's going to be going around for an uninterrupted 5 minutes to deeply analyze their team at this stage of the season. As the Yankees just took an early 1-0 lead-off home run from Paul Goldschmidt off the lefty Patrick Corbin. Yankees lead.
Oh, I'm sure Yankee Twitter is furious with Paul Goldschmidt.
Mets are going to get going later on tonight. And before we get into our into our Empire Express, let's take a look at our chat. Jacob Petruzzi. This came in at 9:30 in the morning. Jacob, smack that like and sub button for the fellas on your way in. Do appreciate it, Jacob. Hitman, what's good, ESB fam? Longtime supporter, Hitman. Oh, our very own Sierra. Welcome to Empire State of Bad Baseball, hosted by all of New York. I know it's been really bad out here. JDR, we saw JDR over the last couple of weeks here. A new member here of our chat. Shout out to JDR. What's up, ESB Nation? Swift, oh, wow, I am dense. I've been spending the last 3 minutes on how to join the conversation, thinking this is a space. Good show, fellas. Big Slick, we heard from Big Slick last week. Tom read Big Slick his last rights on the show last week for the trade mocks, which was kind of crazy. He goes a lot of dense people in here. And Sierra it reiterates here, hashtag pumpkin spice life. That's it. Pumpkin spice life. Joe is back from a different location, from the different location that he's at. Joe, where are you at right now? The people want to know.
I am up in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, so I am coming to you from my back room. So I'm hoping no bears pop in.
I mean, that'd be a wild. I mean, that would be a wild and very dramatic scene. I think that would happen in the history of streaming if a bear just ripped through the window and took you with him. Oh. I mean, that would be wild and would probably draw numbers. But we're not here to talk about bears. We're not here to talk about Bulls. That's next week. But we are here to talk about the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. So we'll start off things with the New York Metropolitans. And Corey, we'll start with you on the latest and greatest with the Mets as we pull them up, as they are now a half a game under the Philadelphia Phillies before they start tonight's contest against the Cleveland Guardians. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it really is the tale of 2 weeks when we're talking about the Mets, because when we had the show this time last week, we were riding high. 7-game win streak, built that division lead up to, I think, a game and a half was the high after that win streak. And ever since then, we've only won 1 game. We proceeded to get swept by the Padres, and then we lost 2 of 3 to the Giants. It really felt like we had a shot on that Friday game. Mets had a lot of chances to either win it, then tie it, or win it in extra innings. And we saw a lot of the same woes, especially in that Giants game on Friday night. Runners in scoring position just continues to be an issue with this team. There's really right now 2 big issues with the Mets. You could have made a case the bullpen, but that pretty much got resolved at the deadline, because I absolutely love what Stearns did with the bullpen. That is now a strength of the team. We'll get more into that later when we get to the checkpoints. But the 2 biggest issues, I mean, the RISP and the starting pitching just not giving you length. I mean, the one positive I'll say, too, with Sean Manaea's actually looked good. His biggest problem is just getting deep into games as they're trying to build them up. Right now, Manaea did get through 5 innings. I think this might be his first time through 5 innings. He only gave up 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He's only at 57 pitches. So I don't have the game on right now. But based on that, looking at those numbers, there's absolutely no reason why he should not go out there for the 6th inning. So we'll see if he actually does. Again, I only have the game cast on, not the game. But that's the biggest thing with the Mets right now. And I want to see them come out this week and just go back to the basics and win your series. Just rattle off a couple of 2 or 3s, 2 and 3s. Make it a positive week. The best thing for the Mets right now, I know the Phillies did gain a couple of games on us to make a 1.5 game deficit, now a half game lead for the Phillies, is that they're not running away with this division. I think the Mets and Phillies, we're going to see down the stretch here the last 2 months. I do believe it's going to go back and forth, and we're going to see that division lead swap several more times, I think, down the stretch. The other good thing from a Mets standpoint or a Philly standpoint, depending on which team wins the division, which doesn't, there's not a lot of teams vying for that last wild card spot. The AL is a crazy race where you got a couple of teams like Texas is right there, game and a half out of the wild card in the AL. In the National League, I think the Mets have a 5-game lead right now over the Reds. The Reds, I think, are 4 out of the wild card or 3.5 out of the wild card, something like that. And the Mets have about a 5-game lead on the Reds, who right now would be wild card 4, which doesn't exist. They're a team trying to buy in. So I think that's working the Mets' favor right now, is that they've been able to basically go head-to-head with the Phillies over the last month while both teams kind of floundered and refused to run away with it. And because the National League, you don't have so many teams chasing that last spot, I still feel pretty good about where we are. I still feel pretty good that we're going to make the playoffs. but we're very lucky. This is the case where it's better be lucky than good, because we're very lucky that the Phillies haven't run away with this division so far.
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to be a dogfight. Both teams are kind of up and down. But the Mets, it's time for the Mets to get going. It's time for the offense to get going. Looks like Pete's come around. It looks like Lindor's come around. So we're waiting on Soto to come around. He's due. But yeah, the problem is the pitching has been inconsistent. Hitting with runners in scoring position has been terrible. They fixed the bullpen now. So now they really have to get production from the places that they came into the season thinking were their strengths. The offense was supposed to be a strength. This was supposed to be a top 5 lineup in all of baseball. So they have the talent to be there. But if Lindor and Alonso and Soto don't hit, it doesn't matter who's in the rest of the lineup. You're not going to win many games. So the Mets have won in spite of those guys not playing well lately. Hopefully, they're all starting to come around. Soto in the first inning hit a ball about 2 inches from the wall. So he's hitting the ball, starting to hit the ball harder. It really is at the point where it's time to go. The Phillies are hanging around. They're not going anywhere, but it's time to go. You got to start rattling off series wins again, and the patience from the fan base is going to start to reduce if you don't start playing better baseball. Right now, they're playing about 500 baseball over the course of the last 3-4 weeks, and it's win 7 in a row, lose 5 in a row, win 7 in a row. You can't keep doing that. You're going to eventually get caught behind the 8 ball, and you don't want that to continue.
Joe and Corey, I got to ask, because I found this interesting. I know, listen, the talk is going to be between what's going on between the Mets and the Phillies, but is there a scenario out there where the Mets and Phillies beat on each other enough that, well, the third place Marlins may sneak in a top spot in the NL East? I mean, I could use this as a tipping point to get over to the Yankees, because the Yankees could not, had no answers for the Marlins this past weekend. The Marlins, look at them. Corey, Favs, 7.5 games out of the division. And they just
ironically, when I saw that number today, I thought back, and this is going back, I think we were it might have been the White Elephant episode. It was definitely an off-season episode. And Keith was on, and we asked Keith, which team in the National League East scares you the most? And he was adamant, the Marlins. I mean, he was joking around, because the Marlins have had a history of eliminating us down the stretch multiple times. But that was the first thing I thought of when Keith said Marlins. And here they are, 500. But again, they're a 500 team right now, coming off the 3-game sweep. I'm not worried about the Marlins at this juncture. I think it really is a dogfight between the Phillies and the Mets. They're just in a better tier of baseball, despite both teams not playing up to their potential. I do think the Marlins could find themselves potentially in a wild card scenario if they stay hot. But if the Marlins find a way to be wild card 3, I mean, you're talking about an absolutely phenomenal, exceeded expectation season.
The Marlins,
I don't think we're talking Marlins this time next month.
The Marlins, by the way, 6 games out of wild card number 3 in the National League. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and they, I don't know. Right? Yeah, I agree. The division, probably not. The Mets and the Phillies are definitely, I think, in a different class. I wouldn't want to. I mean, they're a frisky team. They have good offense. They have some good live arms. Not a team that in the beginning of the year, I don't know what the Mets schedule is, but a lot of times the Marlins series is one you get like, okay, we can exhale a little bit, maybe rest the bullpen, get some guys. I wouldn't want to play them the last couple of series of the year when they're just truly, even if they're out of it, they're just kind of playing for fun, because they're a team that can hit and that can frustrate you. I think they, at the very least, they're gonna like sweep a team at the end of the season, and it's gonna really hurt them. And maybe they get in the playoffs, maybe they don't, but they're here.
Right.
Mets play the Marlins Labor Day weekend on a 4-week series.
Yeah, and the Mets end their season in Miami, 3-game set.
Yeah, there you go. So
now, I mean, you're cleared by then.
We'll take that and move on over to the New York Yankees side of the house, because Tom, yes, as we mentioned, the Marlins, It's the Marlins that did the Yankees in this past, or shall I say, it was the Yankees that did the Yankees in this past weekend. And without kind of getting into it, because we have a checkpoint where we can deeply run through what's been going on with the Yankees over the past couple of months. But what an embarrassment of a loss on Friday, which kind of just set the tone for the entire weekend there in Miami.
Friday was a rough one, man. I'd kind of called it a night, went upstairs, like, I'll throw the Yankees on my phone. Let's just watch this win as I'm going to sleep. And then they come back, and then they blow it, and they come. It truly was a house of horrors situation, especially with all of the new relievers coming in and all blowing it. It was tough. It's a real tough start. Thankfully, I know Jake Bird got in, I think yesterday, was it? Or Saturday, and he looked better. Thank God. He's not going to give up a grand slam every time he's up. But yeah, it was rough, and it's a lot of, we're going to get into it more later. I know I have my talking points later. I'm sure Rich has similar things, but it's the stuff that's been plaguing him. It's been plaguing him since the World Series. It's sloppy baseball. It's bad. It's some bad decisions. It's just stuff that they should be. It shouldn't be a problem for a major league team the way it is for them, and it is frustrating to watch. It is incredibly frustrating to watch as Anthony Volpe strikes out with the bases loaded. So that was also kind of frustrating. They're not playing good baseball. I think, and I'll get into this with the recap or whatever, the checkpoint. They're still a talented team. I still think they could go somewhere, but right now, the way they're playing, it's like they couldn't beat some of these little league teams. That's embarrassing.
It's any team can beat them right now.
The Jazz play was a mistake you don't even see in Little League. I'm sorry.
It's even more frustrating. Jazz had his reason why, but Jazz then said he wouldn't do anything differently. He made the right play.
It's a massive problem.
I understand what he's saying. He was saying, yeah, what if Edwards drops the ball on purpose? Well, then you're out, Jazz. You can't have two outs. Listen, I don't remember who was hitting at the time. I imagine it was a slower runner. It was slower than Jazz, most likely. Almost everyone is.
It was. I think it was Goldschmidt, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was.
So fine. So yeah. So you're decreasing the speed on the bases, and yes, you would rather, if you could only have Goldschmidt or Jazz on first, you would choose Jazz, but you don't get to make that choice. It's so frustrating to see them just, again, make these mistakes over and over again. And again, I'm going to get into more of it later, but they can't keep doing this. And they frankly embarrass themselves. Like they're the lead on like social media and baseball Twitter of here's another just mess up by the Yankees. Here's the Dodgers laughing at the Yankees again. There's keep saying embarrassing. It just is.
There's a lot there I could get into. Again, we have the checkpoint later to kind of do that. This past weekend, I think, kind of fully encompass what their issues have been for the past couple of months. A game you score 12 runs in, a game that you hit 2-3-runner home runs in, a game that Anthony Volpe goes 4 for 5 in. You got to win that ball game. Jazz Chisholm getting thrown out at first base, unforgivable play. Shouldn't be coming back out in the field. I think one of the biggest things that's talked about, Tom, through on a Bronx take, but just even just all together on social with the fans like to cover, is the word accountability. And there seems to be a philosophical thing with the Yankees right now where they don't need to feel like they have to take accountability for the poor plays that are happening in the field. And I don't know if that's just media training. I don't know if that's Aaron Boone delivering a message on behalf of the rest of the staff. I want to see a little bit more passion, a little bit more fire from this team when they talk to the press, because it seems like anytime there's this X issue happens, well, the player that's involved doesn't really want to own up to it. They kind of make excuses for why it happened the way it happened. Then you have a Jazz situation on Saturday where he says, yeah, it happened. And guess what? I'd do it again.
Yeah.
There's something wrong here that these things are okay. There's no one that's coming out here and saying we suck. We fucking suck right now. and we have to play better.
It's interesting. I don't know if you saw the couple of things going on Twitter today, but it was, and Joe just continues to move around. I think he's on the toilet right now, where the Yankees frankly should be. It was Clint Frazier and Lance Lynn kind of separately came out in support of Boone, basically saying Boone will put on a face to the media and he'll just kind of give you the, I support my player, I support my players. And then behind the doors, apparently he does, get into it with them about poor play and that sort of stuff. Where the disconnect is for me, and I'm fine with that, by the way. I don't care what Boone says in the media. I don't need Boone to go up to the podium and throw his water bottle and say that was ridiculous by Jazz. That doesn't do anything for me. I know at least Lance Lynn's point of that was the New York media is like the most ruthless sports media in the country. And if Aaron Boone goes out there and says it's unacceptable for Jazz to do that, it becomes a massive story. And he just would rather not do that, so he'll just take the arrows himself. That part, I don't care about. But you can't – Jazz has to get pulled from that game then.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You have to pull him from the game.
100%.
Yeah, you have to pull – Austin Wells has to get pulled the other day when he forgot how many outs there were. I guess it's tougher with the catcher because it's catcher and that, but, like, that was unbelievable.
Well, he can't. He needs to be benched the next day then if you can't pull him during the game. But the problem I have with Boone, and especially with the Jazz situation, Jazz is saying he would do the same thing again. Everybody who has ever stepped on a baseball field knows that you as a runner have no control over that situation. Correct. Your life is in the fielder's hands. And the one thing that you cannot do is get doubled off. And that's more on Goldschmidt than him. As long as Goldschmidt's near that first base bag, your job is to be glued within a step of that bag. If the fielder drops it, there is nowhere to go. If he chooses to take you, you're not sneaking to second base.
Edwards could kick at the second base probably.
Right.
Edwards can kick at the second base if he wanted to. He doesn't have to pick it up. Jazz is dead.
And so my problem is the fact that Jazz came out and said he would do nothing wrong is ridiculous because everybody who's ever played the game of baseball knows that's a line of crap. Second of all, my problem with Boone is Boone was caught on camera chewing the first base coach out. You can't turn around and chew the first base coach out. We all see it on the highlights, so we know when you say, I'm okay with Jazz making an aggressive play, that you're full of it. I'm sorry.
Boone did bring Jazz down the tunnel, and again, in theory, we don't know what he said, but he did bring him down the tunnel. But again, that's where
don't feed us a line of crap.
I'm fine with him defending to the media and to the cameras. That's fine with me. But there has to be, like you said, accountability. I get not wanting to rip into Jazz on the bench while everyone's going to see it. That's, others might disagree with that. I don't. That again.
But don't say you come out and are okay with how he took that play because you're not.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. And so my thing is. It's always I'm okay with the player. I'm okay with this. All he has to say to show the media that he doesn't agree with that play is be like, hey, listen, I know what was going through Jazz's head. It was literally a little over aggressive. We had a conversation. We're good. Done. That's the way you should handle it. You're not throwing Jazz under the bus. You're just saying, hey, that's an overly aggressive play. We don't want you to do that. We took the corrective action and we're good to go. Yeah. But instead, he's like, I'm okay with Jazz being that aggressive. That's just not the right thing to say.
Their media training now, for better or worse, is just to literally never admit fault to the media. There's a couple of times Boone will say things are unacceptable. He has said that in the past. He didn't say it about the Jazz situation. He's said it for other situations occasionally. Yeah. But generally, they just stonewall the media. That's like their playbook, and it's annoying.
And, real quick, we have a Mets game break. Mendoza made the right decision, pushing Minaya into the sixth inning, and then right on cue, the Mets starting pitching could not get through the sixth inning. It went from Guardians with 2 hits, now a 5-0 game.
1-0 Yankees still. Austin Slater has been pulled from the game. Looks like an apparent hamstring injury. So Austin Slater out Jason Dominguez. And listen, we can get more into the Jazz thing. I didn't want to make it the whole Empire Express, but we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Mets and Yankees later on in Checkpoint. Just another bad weekend for the New York Yankees. Hopefully they can right the ship, but I've been saying hopefully they can right the ship for about 6 weeks now. At this point, is it even righting the ship, or is just treading water? Is it just we just got to watch how this damn thing plays out? Because I don't know what team is going to decide to show up. Could it be the team from last week that took 3 out of 4 against Tampa Bay, which they've been bad against American League East teams? Sure. Or could it be a team that lost to a team that just sold at the deadline 3 in a row in their home ballpark? So, again, we don't know what's going on with the Yankees, but we'll have more on our analysis of this point of the season later on tonight in Checkpoint. All right, let's move on from that. We're going to touch on Instagram. Corey Favs, let's talk about the gram.
Yeah, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Empire State of Baseball. You'll find our meme reels there. You'll find graphics from the show, archived segments, you name it. You'll find it on Instagram. So go ahead. We have 7,400 followers and growing. Let's try to get over that 7,500 milestone. So go ahead again at Empire State of Baseball. Myself at Corey Favs, Joe at JR Pugs, Rich at Rich Rivera, and Tom at T Wospil.
There you go. Thank you very much. All righty. From that, it's been a bit since we've last heard from our guy Took. Now, I was lucky enough to be a guest along with Corey Favs at an awesome wedding last night. Congratulations to the new Russos. And I was taking in the sights at the side of the wedding. Lovely place out there. So this is what I pulled up when I was on the grounds for this wedding last night. Take a look.
All right, we got a beautiful view here out in Hamilton, New Jersey. And I don't even know what's going to make this even more beautiful. Oh, wait a minute. That could do it right there. Our guy, Took. You have a pick this week, my man. What's that pick? Let's hear it.
I've been down, but this week we're going Blue Jays, Dodgers. Blue Jays taking the series since, the team that I pick always loses. And me as a Yankee fan, I need the Blue Jays to lose.
Good point.
My player to watch, Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Damn, you really need that win, huh?
I need that win.
Vlad Guerrero Jr.
We're down bad.
Sorry to hear, man. We're gonna correct this. Blue Jays over Dodgers. Vlad Guerrero is your pick there. Book it.
And there you have it.
Hammer the Dodgers.
Rich,
Hammer the Dodgers home, folks.
Rich, you look like such a sleazy movie agent in there with the slick back hair, with the tie clip. I mean, you look like some sleazy sports agent from like an 80s movie.
Yeah, Richie McGuire out here, Listen, I ran into my guy Took, wasn't even expected for him to be outside at the moment. I was just like, I just love the grounds over there out in Hamilton. But listen, guys, we know the deal. We look at the overall record, folks. 7-19. It's not fucking good. So at this point, we got to get Took some wins here. And he still picked, to his credit, he still picked a tough series to choose a winner. Because as good as the Blue Jays have been, the Dodgers are still the Dodgers. He did go with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., so he's trying to hedge himself a little bit here with the player to watch. But, guys, let's go around the room. Big series this weekend between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Corey Favs, we'll start with you. Who you got in this matchup?
Yeah, it's hard not to go against the Chooch. But the Blue Jays looked a little off, 4-6 of the last 10. They cooled off a little bit this week after building a nice lead in that division. But the Dodgers, again, 6-4 over the last 10 also, but they've also not played up to their true potential. So I'm actually going to go with the Chooch and say the Blue Jays win the series, but who knows?
Joe?
Dodgers sweep. I can't be with the Chooch. I can't. Dodgers sweep.
It's fair, Tom.
I said last week that the Blue Jays are chokers. So, I'm with Joe. I think the Dodgers sweep them because the Blue Jays are choke artists.
I'm kind of with Took's reverse psychology here. He's taking the Jays over the Dodgers. We know Took's a massive New York Yankees fan. So I am going to go against Took because I think he wants to be wrong here in this case. So Dodgers over Blue Jays. I actually got the Dodgers sweeping the Toronto Blue Jays here. And the player to watch on the Dodgers side, let's go with let's go with Andy Pages. I like Andy Pages in this, so we'll go with the Dodgers outfielder for this weekend's game. All righty, so there you have it. That's book it, and with that, let's throw it back over to Joe and touch on YouTube.
Yes, we are live on X and Instagram, but where we really want you to be is on YouTube. Why? We can interact with you, the fans, live during our streams. So go over to YouTube, hit our subscribe button, go over to Empire State Baseball, hit our subscribe button, hit our like on the latest video, and help us now get to 1,000 subscribers. That's right. We have reached 500. I think we're at 510 the last time I saw it.
Wow.
I could be incorrect on the exact number, but next milestone is 1,000. So we're going to do a giveaway now that we've reached 500, 508.
508. Yeah.
508. We're going to do a giveaway. We're still trying to come up with what that giveaway is. Last time we gave away 2 autographed cards. So this time we might give away an autographed baseball or memorabilia of some kind. So make sure that you're subscribed. That's the only way you're going to be part of the giveaway is if you're subscribed, and you'll have to like the latest video when we announce that video is live. So yeah, that's YouTube.
Yeah, and I can only assume it would probably be the same rules as the last giveaway, which was over 250 subscribers ago, and which was a lot of fun. Gave away a couple of baseball cards, but I think the way we did it, yes, as Joe was saying, I think you have to subscribe, you have to like the video that we announced the giveaway and the prizes, which I think at this point I would say is probably going to be next week when we make our announcement of what it's going to be. And then from that point, I think you have a week to like the video, subscribe, and also comment. And those will enter you into the contest, which I think that's how the rules went the last time. So I would assume it's the same rules from that last giveaway. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a certain video. You're going to have to like and subscribe. And then what they do is they have a tool on YouTube that will randomly pick somebody who likes, subscribes, and comments. So it has a filter. And we'll do something like that.
Excellent stuff. So stay tuned for that. So our 500 plus subscriber giveaway episode is coming, and it will be over sometime over the next couple of weeks. All right, shout out around the room to Chris Evis here. We got Chris says, I'm just here to say I had the greatest rowback promo of all time. Thomas, you missed a good one towards the end of the trade deadline show on Thursday. Chris with his best Tom Waspel impersonation towards the tail end with a rowback spot. It was very good stuff by Chris.
Well, Chris, did you also then use the promo code? Because if not, I don't want to hear it.
I see that's a good point, and we'll wait on Chris's response. All right, I'm not going to wait. Jack Esposito, we need to just play a clean game, absolutely. And Joey Bagadon's in the building. Sup, fuckers? How you doing, Joey? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, let's get into the checkpoint. First time since we did this since the Memorial Day week. And kicking us off with our first checkpoint, I'm going to throw it to my pal, Corey Favs, for our first checkpoint here. So let's get ourselves set up. Corey, you're going to be in the main camera there. And let's hit the road because we got to hit our next checkpoint on the road, ladies and gentlemen. And again, our first checkpoint, Corey Favs, you have an uninterrupted, you hear that, Joe? You hear that, Tom? Uninterrupted 5 minutes to go in on your New York Mets. Go ahead.
I'm just watching the Yankees for
Listen, and I'm going to put it this way, too. I mean, today's game right now is the epitome of everything I want to cover, so the timing couldn't be better. I'm going to start off really simple on bottom one and eye towards October. Again, if we would have done this show March 4th as opposed to August 4th, and you would have told me, hey, Mets are a half game back of the NL East. The Mets are currently wild card 2 in the National League, 5 games up, the team that's just outside the wild card. I would have signed up for it in a heartbeat, said, yeah, that sounds great. Let's go to a dogfight down the stretch. Fact of the matter is we shouldn't be at this point. The Mets had, I think, a 7 or 8 game lead earlier in the season. The Mets at one point were 21 games over 500 in the middle of June. And here we are now, and the team is just showing inconsistency after inconsistency, and it's going on like 50 days of this inconsistent nonsense. Joe mentioned earlier in the show, like the last 6 or 8 weeks, the Mets are barely a 500 team. If not for the really, really good stretch they had in April and May in the first half of June, this team would not be in a playoff spot right now. Moral of the story is they are still in what you would theoretically say prime playoff position. The one benefit that I mentioned earlier, too, is that the National League doesn't have as many teams fighting for that last wildcard spot than the American League. The American League has 5 teams within 5.5 games of wildcard 3. The National League only has 1 team within 5.5 games of wildcard 3. So that's the one positive. But the two biggest issues with this team right now, both clearly evident in tonight's ball game too, the starting pitching is just wearing down early in the games. They could not get deep into games. The only starter you could truly trust every night he's out there is David Peterson. Every other starter, by the time the 4th and 5th inning rolls around, they're gassed. Sean Manaea tonight looked as good as he's looked all year. 2 hits through 5 innings. He only had 50 pitches. Great. He's going to get through 6 innings for the first time this year. What happens? 6th inning comes around and he completely implodes. And before you know it, it's a 5-0 game. Kodai Senga, as soon as he came off of injury, he can't get past the 4th inning anymore. He's not giving you depth. Clay Holmes is completely gassed. By the 4th inning, he's done. Frankie Montas should never start a game for the Mets again. But because the Mets are so reluctant to call up one of the top prospects, he's going to have to pitch this Saturday. So starting pitching right now, not looking good at all. I hate it outside of David Peterson. Our runners in scoring position, 231 average. That's 27th in MLB. That number was 2 points lower. That was 29th. The only reason it got this high is because they hit really well on Saturday, an anomaly, scoring 12 runs. But even tonight, look what happens. Early in the game, 2 guys on, failed to score. All right? Last inning, Cedric Mullins, leadoff walk, steals a base. Great, got a guy on second base. Failed to score. Nimmo striking out on a pitch right down the fucking middle of the plate. They can't capitalize. If the Mets miss the playoffs, it's because of these top 2 points and continuing to struggle. And it's extremely frustrating to watch because baseball is supposed to give you enjoyment. I've had no enjoyment the last 6 weeks watching Mets baseball. Outside of that one random 7-game win streak, they are god-awful and they have to wake up because they're terrible. The one positive, their bullpen is elite right now. They had a phenomenal trade deadline, getting all those arms out there. I trust the bullpen. It doesn't matter because you don't even need the bullpen anymore. The starting pitching is completely done. It's a 5-0 game because your offense can't score. So you might as well have me come out of the pen because for a league minimum, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose the game anyway. So really frustrated with this team right now. I absolutely hate it. But we're in a playoff position if it ended today. So that's baseball, Susan. I don't know what to tell you.
And with that, you also had 35 seconds. I didn't even count you down there. You just knew your time. Very good there, Corey Favs. But yeah, let's take a look into these points. So for every person who goes, there will be some feedback given by the opposition, and I'll be sitting in the opposition for Corey Favs on this one. And listen. There's nothing I don't disagree with when it came to Corey's takes here. And it's funny because on the outside looking in, as a Yankee fan and knowing the struggles that our team is currently going through, it still seems like the Mets have a great handle of where they're at when it comes to a playoff position. Even though they're a half game out right now as we speak, I mean, that's a division that's already flip-flopped a couple of times. They're well ahead of the game in the National League wild card hunt. But yeah, as Corey pointed out, he pointed this out in the first checkpoint. He's pointing it out now. The issues with the runners in scoring position has continued, and nothing has really changed there. It's just a matter of which 2 big-time players do the Mets have this week that aren't cashing in when it counts the most. And that problem is going to happen. When it comes down to the team ERA, despite the struggle for the starting staff not making it through games, I mean, there's a credit to your full pitching staff to why your team ERA is still as low as it is in the National League. You know, you mentioned the additions to the bullpen. Edwin Diaz is a big part of why that pitching ERA is as down as it is. As great as Edwin Diaz has been, he's back to being the best closer in baseball. Now you add Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers to the mix. It's crazy. And again, the Mets team, this is a postseason team. This is a playoff team. It's a great team. They had a great start to the season. They had a very good midsummer between the bad stretches where they were able to keep themselves towards the top and even vault the first place at one point. And it's funny, Corey, fast throughout your rant there on the Mets, Pete Alonso goes out there and rips a 3-run home run, and now it's 5-3 Guardians. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. But as I see it here, Corey, listen, I think the Mets are still in really good shape here. They have some things they have to clean up a little bit, but this is stuff that I don't think is going to wear the Mets down from a prime playoff position. I think this is still a good ball club. So to me, at least, it's still looking pretty good for the New York Mets, despite the failure to execute with runners in scoring position. They'll get there. All right. Now I'm going to take the mantle and we'll flip to the New York Yankees side of the house here. And let's get into my points. And with that, let's also start the timer at 5 minutes here. And here we go. So American League least. One of the biggest issues the Yankees have had all season, despite any good stretch they had or the really bad stretch they had over the last couple of months, is they cannot beat their division. They're a victim in their own division. They have the worst record in their division against their division, 14-19. That's unacceptable. I mean, when the team was going well, and I had to pull it up, the Yankees, the last time we did the checkpoint, were 7 games ahead of the second place team in the American League East. And a big reason for their fall is their failure to beat American League teams. The Baltimore Orioles, for instance, right now, I think that season series is tied. The Blue Jays has spanked that ass every time it seems like the Yankees face the Toronto Blue Jays. The Boston Red Sox have climbed back into the mix. Now have climbed over the New York Yankees, are in second place. Didn't really give up on the Boston Red Sox, folks. There's a reason why I had them winning the World Series from the beginning of the season. I didn't give up on them when Devers went down, when Devers got traded, because they had the supporting staff to still make it very interesting for the rest of the folks at the top of the list. I actually still see the Red Sox as a team that could win the division easily. Despite with all the struggles going on with the Yankees, and let's face it, the Toronto Blue Jays, as hot as they've been, that's going to fall. And maybe it'll fall as soon as as this week when they face the Dodgers at the end of the week. But for the New York Yankees' sake, they got to do better against their division. If they have any shot at winning their division, it's not been going well for them. One of the biggest controversial figures of New York Yankees Twitter is Anthony Volpe. His name is brought up every single day, whether it's a positive or negative or the genesis of an argument between two Yankee fans that are two completely different parallels when it comes to this kid. Volpe is Jekyll and Hyde. You look over the last few games, ever since the All-Star break, Volpe's one of the league leaders in home runs. And now, I don't think Tom and I or Yankee fans are asking Anthony Volpe to pull the ball for home runs all the time. The Yankees have a few guys that can do that. You want Volpe to just put bat on ball. But where there's the good in his game with the offense in certain parts of the season, it cancels out with the defense just like that. 16 errors on the season, leads the league in errors at the position. Anthony Volpe is truly a Jekyll and Hyde situation. And it's a damn shame considering where this kid was from the very beginning. The pressure that was put on this guy to perform, where, believe it or not, in the minor leagues, if you actually look through the numbers at the early levels, yes, the traditional lines are there for him to show some success in the minor league level. But as he went up, the numbers got worse. So it never really was there for him. And for me, it seemed like the Yankees had rushed him into a situation that I just don't think was fair for the kid. Shortstop is obviously, we know, one of the more scrutinized positions for the New York Yankees between that and closer. Volpe's been a Jekyll and Hyde at the position. And you wish that he can side to one side of the game. If it's going to be the offense and you're not going to give us the defense, fine. If you're going to hit 215, great. Make the plays that are hit to you after the 7th inning. I've never seen a player in my 20 years as a fan get so much opportunity, but be so in clutch on both sides of the baseball. So Anthony Volpe, Jekyll and Hyde. I got a minute 47 here. New kids on the block. 7 new players joined the Yankees. I guess now 6 because Austin Slater just got pulled out of the game. So we'll sayonara Austin Slater. But for the Yankees' sake, they did address some important needs. The back end of the bullpen. It's hard to talk about the great moves the Yankees made on Thursday when all 4 of those players contributed to the bad loss they had on Friday, including Caballero. But the Yankees did make some solid moves. They got a better bench. Bench was something that was not talked about a lot, but it was a problem for the Yankees. They didn't have enough depth on the team. And the back end of the bullpen is a lot better, despite what happened on Friday. Adding Jake Bird and David Bednar and Camilo Doval to a back end of a staff that we don't know is going to look like come 2026. You got some controllable assets. It's going to help deepen your back end of the pen. You were able to send down Ian Hamilton and not worry that much. You were able to put Jonathan Loaiza on the IL and still feel good about what you have left in the bullpen. The Yankees, they got the acquisitions you need to improve the areas. It might not have been the flashiest names, some of the players. I know Ryan McMahon was another subject that fans were kind of back and forth on, but they figured out third base. Hopefully that contributes towards a better future for the Yankees over these next 2 months. And window of opportunity, as I got 34 seconds left. Next man up is a key to success. With Aaron Judge out, I know Tom is going to get a little bit more into the Judgeless Yankees. With Aaron Judge out, this is an opportunity for players to step up in a big way. You know, I look at a guy like Jason Dominguez and Trent Grisham, who were part of this outfield juggle. Take advantage of the opportunity you have, and that's going to be a big part of the Yankees trying to make a run back up to the American League East, or at least hold on to a top part of the wild card. Guys like Will Warren, guys like Cam Schlittler in the rotation, guys that weren't guaranteed spots. We want to see them continue to improve on their game as we've seen in their rookie season. That's it. I just expired on time here. Joe, let's throw it to you with Yankees feedback. Hopefully positive Yankees feedback.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's as a Yankee fan, if I were a Yankee fan, I'd be really frustrated watching them. It seems like the Yankees are making the same mistakes over and over again, right? Even dating back to last year, dating back to the World Series. Last year, they took advantage of a very depressed American League, and that helped them with the two superstars in the heart of their order. It helped them hide a lot of the issues that plague them. The problem is, even with new players, the issues are still plaguing them. Mistakes on the base pass, mistakes in the field, mistakes in timely situations have put the Yankees in a position where it's not just the players. It is a systemic thing. Volpe might be the poster child of what is wrong with the Yankees. The field and errors, and it's a shame because he has incredible range, right? Like, he gets to balls that most people don't get to. But the ball hit right at him is an error. And it's always an error in like the 7th, 8th, 9th. You know, it's the error at the worst time. Volpe's put himself in a position where he's put the Yankee organization in a terrible spot. They now have to decide with this kid coming into his arbitration years, is this our future shortstop or not? At the moment, if you had to tell me, and I was in the Yankee front office, I would say no, that this would be his last year as the starting Yankee shortstop without any risk of losing his job. I think they're going to look to find somebody who at least can put pressure on him the next year. Wells also is showing chinks in the armor. He looks like he's going to be in the same situation Volpe. He makes a lot of mistakes defensively. He doesn't hit consistently, and it's a problem. So Volpe is the poster child of it, but Wells is doing that, and Dominguez is doing that a little too. Dominguez can't play left field. It's a problem. And the Yankee organization set the poor kid up to fail because he had never played left field up until he got here.
He's a center fielder.
40-something games in the minor leagues in left field. So the Yankee organization has put pressure on these kids, and they keep coming up and keep learning on the go, but the learning is costing you ball games. And when you take kids and put them in a position that they might not succeed in, you really put a lot of pressure on the rest of the team. Listen, new kids on the block. The Yankees made a lot of the moves at the deadline. I like the Austin Slater move. I like the Ahmed Rosario move. McMahon is going to be an interesting one to see. Get him out of Coors Field, see how he responds. The bullpen is the interesting one because on the surface, you got two names in Bednar and Doval that a lot of people know around the game of baseball. Bird, not so much. But all three come with concerns, right? Bird's road splits on away from Colorado were bad. Doval and Bednar at one point got demoted last year. Mm-hmm. So they are not automatic arms at the back end of the bullpen. I think Bednar is going to be fine. Doval's a question mark through and through. I think you're going to get times where Doval shuts everybody down for a month. I think you're going to get times where Doval blows up consistently for a month. I think that's just how he is. I think Bednar is going to be fine. But the Yankees did not get complete lockdown relievers. And that's one thing that I'd be worried about. Is the bullpen better? Absolutely. Absolutely. Bednar and Duvall are better than what they had, but that would make me nervous with them. And listen, you could say next man up all you want. This team is going to go as far as Aaron Judge takes them. And if Aaron Judge is not on the field, the team's not going to go far. That's just my belief.
No, I agree. What I threw in the point is the point that I was making there is if the Yankees have to make a shot at it without Judge, you have to rely on the next people coming up here, and it's going to be a tough ask to get out of guys. It's not the Gio Urshela, Luke Voigt, Mike Tauchman Yankees. It's a team where now you're replacing video game production, and you're not going to find it anywhere else. So it has to be a team effort. It can't just be one person taking over the job. It's just impossible to ask. Joe, let's head over to your Mets checkpoint here, though. Yep.
Okay, so my Mets checkpoint. Listen, the first and foremost, and Corey alluded to it, the unraveling of the rotation right now. It's one of those things that we thought it was a strength coming in here. McGill went down, Cannon went down. It took Senga and Minaya were both hurt. Montas came back, then Senga, then Minaya right before the break. And right now, the rotation is just not finding their groove. David Peterson is the only reliable one. Frankie Montas, I hated the signing from day one. He's a problem. At the end of the day, if Senga and Minaya are not going to be productive starting pitchers, it doesn't matter what you did or didn't do at the deadline. Those are two guys who are supposed to be your top of the rotation starters. And listen, Manaya's got a little leash. He looked really good for 5 innings today. He's still lengthening out. It's only his 3rd start of the year, 4th start of the year. He's coming off of spring training. He's got an abbreviated rehab. So I get that. I get that concern. I'm not as concerned with Minaya. Senga's up and down. I'm not really that concerned with Senga once he stays healthy. I think the Mets have 3 decent starting pitchers at the moment. I'm worried about Holmes and I'm worried about Montas. I think Montas is at the point where he is going to be start by start. If he has another stinker in 4 days from now, I think the Mets are going to look to call up a prospect. They already called out Dominic Hamill this today. I think he's going to be coming out of the bullpen. But Sprout or McLean, if they continue to do what they're doing down in AAA, they can take Montas' spot from him. And if Holmes continues to deteriorate or they feel like he's reached the limit of how many innings he can throw and they move him to the bullpen or give him a 15-day IL spot, one of the prospects is going to be up. Look for them to be up August 14th. That's when the service time manipulation comes into play. The Mets wouldn't lose a year of service time if they're up in middle of August. So I expect it then. Ducks on the pond. Listen, runs in scoring position is a problem. It's been a problem all year. What you can do about it, I have no idea. It's a fickle stat. It's something that comes and goes. There are years where I remember a few years ago when Asdrubal Cabrera was on this team, he had 1 year where he batted $180 with runners in scoring position. The next year he batted $320 with runners in scoring position. That's how it goes. Soto is typically a very clutch player. He batted over 300 last year with runners in scoring position. He's batted $180 this year. That is nothing that the Mets can do about it. You want to say, okay, fire the hitting coach. You want to fire Eric Chavez? Go ahead. That doesn't guarantee that all of a sudden these players are going to hit with runners in scoring position. So it's something that you're just going to have to live with. I do like what they did at the deadline. Helsley was a phenomenal move. He is an absolute stud in the back of the bullpen. Rogers is a great move. He's a different look. He's a weird arm angle. He's that submarine pitcher. I think that is something that the Mets really needed, a little variety out of the bullpen. And I really, truly think that the bullpen is the best bullpen in baseball. Diaz right now is the best closer in the game of baseball. Helsley is as good of any setup man in the league. Rogers is as good as any right-handed reliever in the league over the last few years. They have consistency in the bullpen for the first time that I can ever remember. So that I'm not worried about. Mullins, is he a game changer? No, but I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a productive bat for them. And listen, at the end of the day, this is a World Series or bust team. This year, next year, the year after, this is what this team is built for. This team is built to win a World Series. I think a lot of the frustration that comes from Corey, that comes from other Met fans, they want the Mets to run and hide. They want the Mets to pull a 2006 run and hide with the division, run and hide away from the rest of the league. They're not going to do that. The Phillies are not going to let them. But at the end of the day, I look up and down the league. Every single team in baseball is flawed. There is not a team in baseball that doesn't have its issues. And so at the end of the day, do I trust the fact that Lindor, Soto, the Diaz, and Helsley at the back end of the bullpen can get it done in a playoff series? Absolutely. I do. And I don't think any team is remarkably better than the Mets. The Dodgers have been losing games left and right. The Cubs have shaky pitching. I don't even know how the Brewers have the best record in baseball. No one in the AL scares me. Maybe the Tigers with their starting rotation, and that's it.
15 seconds.
So at the end of the day, it is World Series a bust because this team can win the World Series. Absolutely.
With 8 seconds to go, Joe with his checkpoint in the midseason. Tom, what's your feedback on this guy?
So I guess we'll just go down the line the same way Joe did. The rotation, it's something I know I talked about in the offseason. Well, that should have been a concern for the Mets. I know Senga is, with Senga being back and hopefully being good, but I just didn't trust what the rest was behind him. Peterson's been, a bright spot, but I just don't think you could have ever trusted what was behind them. Tying that in with the World Series or bust part, that the Mets needed to really bring in a true stud into this rotation. They needed to do it in the offseason, and they didn't. And I think that is going to eventually really come to hurt them, especially when, Joe, you mentioned, they have guys in the minors that can come up and maybe give them a spark in the rotation, and, they're waiting until the August 14th. The Mets are a team that shouldn't be doing service time manipulation because who cares what the service time then? The time is now with this team. If Cohen has to pay, if some of these guys end up being good and Cohen has to pay him a year early, all I ever hear is that Cohen has more money than God, so he could pay him early if he needs to. But if those guys are really going to be a difference maker, or they got to be up now to bolster that rotation and see if any of them could be a potential postseason starter. I don't think you want to give them 6 weeks and then hope you've had 7 starts in the majors. Here you go. Here's game 2 a must-win game 3 of the NLDS. That's a big ask. Mm-hmm. So I think the rotation is going to bite them until they really address it with the money that they have. The runners in scoring position, I agree that it can be a fickle stat there. I think it just naturally, as we see in baseball, of people being looking more at OPS, which I do like, instead of batting average. But when you runners in scoring position is batting average. So that's where a guy like a Juan Soto, who will take his walks, that's awesome. But when the guys are on base, Juan Soto has to get them in. His job is to get the runners in. His job isn't to just keep passing the baton. And that kind of goes up and down the line. Yeah, those big guys have to, like you said, they have to deliver the runs in scoring position. They have to drive those runs in. Trading deadline, their bullpen certainly did get better, especially with Helsley and Roger Soto a few days earlier than that. With Diaz in the back, I agree. It's probably about as good of a 3-headed monster as you're going to see. But to your point before, it's not like your starters are getting you into the 6th inning or the 7th inning where you could really unleash that. So all that kind of is tied together. Corey brought it up earlier as well, that, hey, if the starters are getting absolutely shelled, it doesn't matter if the relievers are that good if the game's already over at that point. And then, I guess we've kind of talked about the World Series or bust, but they are a team that had high expectations. They should have high expectations. They're still a talented team. I said it before. I worry about the rotation in the playoffs. I said it before the season started. I don't think these are the guys that you can feel good about going into the playoffs to win a World Series. So we'll see if I'm wrong there. But that's kind of where I'm at.
All right, let's flip it to your checkpoint here, Tom.
We will. And I'm actually going to get to the first point at the end because I think it's kind of what I most want to have some time with as I start my own timer here. And not started. This doesn't count. Now it counts. Bullpen hierarchy. The Yankees, like Rich said, the Yankees did improve the bullpen. Did that work out Friday night? No, it didn't. But they brought in talent I think there's no team with a better 5 relievers if these guys are kind of living up to what they should do than Williams, Weaver, Doval, and Bednar. Maybe there's 4 there. I mean, miscounted there, but still, that's a very good foursome in the bullpen. They got rid of. They put Hamilton down. De Los Santos went down. I think he's looked pretty good at times. I think the bullpen will be okay. It's just the starters kind of getting it to them. It's kind of the same situation that the Mets are in that way. Judge coming back. So Judge could come off the IL tomorrow. They talked about it, that it's possible to come off the IL tomorrow. And then what do you do at that point? The Yankees are just under 500 without him in the lineup. He was hurt before that, so I think even some of those other losses you can attribute to Judge not being at full strength. What do you do? Because especially with Giancarlo Stanton, who has been so hot as of late, Judge is going to have to DH. Is Stanton ready to play the outfield? I don't know. That is going to be an interesting development that we're going to see. It really made me think we've talked so much. I know I did in one of our everyone's favorite LI in the offseason talked about Judge learning to play first base, and that could have been something that we think the Judge should have learned to do. It really made me think over the past couple of days, why did we never try Stanton at first? Why did we never figure out, like, hey, you can't run. Why don't you learn to play first base? Because he is, and we've seen him in his past. He is athletic. We've seen him make athletic plays in the outfield. I think his lower legs just don't work anymore. Like, could he not figure out how to play first? Could he not maybe, like, bend down to scoop balls? I don't know. This is a little bit of a tangent off that, but I don't know why Stanton never learned how to play first. I think it would have been beneficial for the Yankees. Arms in the bullpen, the playoff rotation at this point. Hopefully the Yankees have a playoffs to have a rotation. But, you got Fried 1, you got Rodon 2. It, I think, is a massive question of who is 3. Is it Luis Gil if he's looking good? Is it Schlittler? Is it why it's a big question mark. I think whoever doesn't make, obviously who doesn't crack that rotation, you're going to be able to put another good arm in the bullpen. So in that way, the pitching I feel okay about if the Yankees can make the playoffs. It's more of the other side of the ball, which is where we kind of get back to my first point, doing a little bit of a Christopher Nolan. We got to get back to the beginning at the end here. And it's the fundamentals of this team. 8th in errors, first in mental errors, though. Just an absolute atrocious brand of baseball that they've been playing. And I know a lot of that blame gets put on Aaron Boone. And as the manager of the team, he certainly has to carry the burden of some of that blame. But I think it really is more of an organizational situation. Aaron Boone isn't in charge of running drills in AA. That's not part of his job. That is the entire organization. Frankly, when players get to the majors, he shouldn't have to tell Jazz what happened in that play at first. He shouldn't have to tell Austin Wells how many outs there are so he doesn't run back and just get picked off. It's an organizational issue with the Yankees. It comes from minor league coaching. It comes from scouting. I mean, they a lot of the things we've talked about are truly the basis of playing baseball. And that stuff scouting should also point out. You should find smart players who don't make mistakes. I would wonder what and Anthony Volpe might have looked like at times, or at Austin Wells at times when they were younger, because you would think if they're making mistakes now, they probably were making it at that point as well. Issues with the Yankees farm system have been kind of tried and true over the past few years. I know there was a whole article, I think it was last year, of some guys coming out saying the Yankees only teach you how to hit the ball hard. That's the only thing they teach you in the minors. Nothing else matters for the Yankees. And you know what? When you see what's on the field, sometimes that seems to make sense. The Yankees, if they're going to get better, it's not going to happen this year with this fundamental issue. It's something that is going to have to be a massive overhaul of the organization. Is that going to happen in the offseason? I don't think so. If Boone goes, does that fix that? I don't think so. Unfortunately, it's where we are. And I can't wait to get back to a better brand of baseball. I just don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think you did a good job there, Tom, kind of summarizing where the Yankees are. And if I look at it too, you look at the Mets and Yankees both, really their struggles start from the middle of June. And we've seen the same issues impact both teams down that stretch. The biggest thing to call out, and I think you have it right there at the top of your list, fundamentally flawed. What cost the Yankees the World Series last year? It was defense. It was the basic fundamentals. They got pop. They could hit. They got good pitching. It was really the defensive miscues that absolutely butchered them in the World Series. And you're seeing a lot of those same mistakes. I mean, Volpe, what's going on over there with Volpe? You have the Jazz situation the other day. There's just so many miscues. Caballero in right field. Supposed to be a great fielder. They put him out there right, boom, right under the gun. Little Ole, which I've done so many times in softball. So it's really unfortunate to see that it's the same issues impacting the team in August of 25 when that was the issue that cost you in October of 24.
Correct.
The bullpen too. This is definitely something you want to get addressed by the end of October. You really want to go into the postseason having pretty clearly defined roles. I'm not saying that all 8 guys in your bullpen has an exact situation, but you want to know, okay, who is my closer? I don't want any question marks at the closer position. Who's my closer? Who's my best guy to get a lefty out? Who's my best guy? Bases loaded. I got to get a righty out. You want to induce a ground ball? Who's my guy? Who's my 7th and 8th inning setups? You want to know who's best to put into what situation. The Yankees got a lot of bullpen pieces. It's just not really clicking at the moment. I think it will. Give it a little bit of time. Friday's game where all of the acquisitions imploded at once. That was just more of an absolutely insane outlier. I do think that'll start to situate itself out as we get further from there. Judgment Day. I mean, this is your biggest piece too, because Aaron Judge, you're talking about a generational talent out there in Aaron Judge, one of the best hitters of our lifetime, without a doubt. And if he's going to miss time now, hopefully, he's going to, hopefully just miss the minimum, not much more than that. But if he was to miss more time, what is this team without Aaron Judge? Because that's a piece that you simply cannot replace, even at the trade deadline. If you had another trade deadline, that you can't replace Aaron Judge. He's irreplaceable for that team. And you need Aaron Judge to come back and produce at that level he was prior to the injury. And you need him to continue that into the postseason and not have that struggles like he did last year. In the arms of October, too, again, same thing I was saying before about the bullpen. You want to have some clearly defined roles. You have to know what's going on with your rotation, too. I think with Max Fried, I know he's been a little off the last 4 or 5 starts with the blister and whatnot. I'm not worried about Max Fried. That's a very good piece you have at the top of your rotation. Rodon, again, he has his blunders. He'll blow up a game, blow up a bad spot. He did it this weekend. But again, he is your number 2 arm. How does the rest of that rotation go? Because if those guys in a 7-game set are giving you 2 starts apiece, all right, you still have potentially 3 more starts to work out. How are you going to work it out? So that's a big piece of the puzzle. And ultimately, for both our teams, Mets and Yankees both, we're talking a lot of playoffs, a lot of World Series aspirations. Both our teams have to clinch the playoffs first. I mean, because both teams, again, the Mets are 5 games up right now for a playoff position. Yankees are about 2.5, I think it is, at this exact moment in time in a playoff position. So we got a lot of game between now and the end of September.
100%. And I think that's the biggest thing, regardless of how down we may feel about either of our teams. Again, right now, I think it's a little more Yankees than Mets here. You have 2 months of games, essentially 2 full months of games where you can make up a lot of ground. You could pull off a miracle run, claim that division again. There's a little bit of luck involved as well. There's a little bit of, hey, maybe it takes a Blue Jays to calm down and come a little bit back down to earth, and Boston Red Sox to have a bad stretch when your team's having a good stretch. So baseball's a weird and wacky sport. There's still plenty of time to see if these 2 teams are truly postseason teams. I still believe here, midseason checkpoint with everything going on with the New York Yankees, I still think these 2 New York teams are postseason teams. We got to get there. And by the time we do our next checkpoint, which will be right before the postseason, we'll establish what these teams are heading into October. All right, let's, before we finish things off with the defining moment, make sure to give us a follow on X. Got a lot of things moving and shaking with X right now. Make sure to give us a follow at ESP Podcast. That's our main page. Subsidiaries at ESPNYM, at ESPNYY. Give us all a follow individually. You see it all in the ticker there. Give our Bronx Take team a follow. That's going to come through on the ticker there. You're going to see Boogie. Then you're going to see Chris. Here comes Sierra. And that's all three of their handles right there at the bottom. So make sure to give everybody a follow over on X. And I know I didn't update this because I forgot to add our newest team member as well. Make sure to give our newest team member of Empire State of Baseball, Keith, at Kicking It with Keith on X as well. We have spaces of Bronx Take, of course. Make sure to check us out Monday through Friday, select times throughout the week. We also have extra innings that's going to follow tonight's episode of ESB over on the main page. And speaking of Keith, because I did get some questions of what exactly is Keith doing on ESB. I can answer a couple of those questions without giving so much away. One of the questions I got is he joining the Monday team? As of right now, no. The Monday show is as is. It will remain the same. The only difference is if we are without Corey Favs for a day, if we are out Joe for a day, Keith is going to be the first person we're obviously going to bring on to help sub in while either of the two are out. So Keith will be right there for us if we need him on the Monday night. What Keith's got going on, again, without giving so much away, Keith is going to be involved with our spaces. We do have a Bronx Take, and we really didn't have a Mets version of a Bronx Take. Now, it might not be every day, but Keith will be the primary host of the Mets space that's going to take place on ESB NYM. We're kicking around a few names, and we're kicking around a few days of which he's going to have it. I don't believe it's going to be every day because I don't want to do that to Keith, but he will be the host of the Mets space. And on top of it, he will also be hosting the first ever exclusive Mets live stream here on YouTube, X, and Instagram. Again, we're still working on scheduling. We're still working on concepts, but he will be the host of that show. I know Joe, Corey, you guys are going to be involved in the project as well. But Keith is going to be at the helm for that. So it's going to be a lot of fun once we get him in the mix. And I'm getting private messages that Alonso is red hot. So there you go, Corey Favs, and who was having so much doubts, and P. Alonso's 2 home runs since your rant there on checkpoint. But more information.
5-4, bottom 8, no out.
There you go, 5-4, and right now the Rangers took
loaded. For Mark Vientos, the base is loaded for the other guy. Every night if it means come back and win. So let this guy Vientos. It's the contact before, makes up for it, and for a grand slam.
Corey's starting to become as notable as
center field.
Did you? What did you?
I don't know if that was English.
I didn't understand any of that. Did you speak Frank the Tank? I didn't know what language that was.
I'll speak French for all that matters. I need Mark Vientos to just hit a sac fly. I need the fundies. Bring back the fundies.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring back the defining moment. Corey Favs, take a breather for a quick second. Tom, let's throw to you for your defining moment here for today's ESP game, as Joe is still in our lead here, 18-16 to Tom, Corey and I in third at 14. Tom, take it away.
All right, we are at the 10-year, or just past the 10-year anniversary of this moment. So this ballpark would serve as the location of the final 3 home run game in the career of this player. His third home run would tie the game in the 9th, which would be followed by a go-ahead 3-run homer by this player. The Yankees would go on to win the game 8-5.
All right. By the way, folks, I'm K'ing myself out for this entire game because I worked with Thomas on the question, so I know all the answers. So I'm K'd out. So it's up to Joe Court.
Can you put that back up, Jill?
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to take it off.
No, you don't get it. I get 3 points.
There you go.
For the final 3.
I'm going to look at the chat.
I'm going to go with A-Rod as the player.
It sure is A-Rod.
I knew that.
Yeah, I almost went the same.
Tie game.
I was really hoping Corey would say that fast.
Yeah.
This thing. Yankees would go on to win 8-5, so they're clearly away.
Which we follow. All right, so the opposing player hit a 3-run home run.
I mean, the photo itself is
another Yankee would hit a 3-run homer after.
So that at bat was followed by a go-ahead.
A-Rod,
okay,
A-Rod tied the game in the 9th, 5-5.
Got it.
By the way, I don't know
Yeah.
if Rich can put the video up. The ball hit over Aaron Hicks's head, so that brings a little extra joy.
Viento sack fly, by the way. He did the fundy.
There you go.
All right.
But yeah,
Well, Tom,
different
you-
Yankee hit the 3-run homer later.
You
Let
sorta
me
gave-
go
gonna
with
say
Mark
Fenway.
Teixeira as the second Yankee.
Not Mark Teixeira.
I'm going to say Fenway for the park.
It is
Incorrect.
not Fenway.
Also took off the opponent because that would have obviously gave away the ballpark.
Right.
Sure would have. Did I put that as part of my prompt? It probably did.
Is it Beltran, the home run?
It
Oh,
is not Carlos Beltran.
Minnesota. You gave it away with Hicks.
You did.
Oh,
You
shit,
did
I
give it
did.
away.
Ballpark's
You're an idiot.
ballpark in Minnesota. Yeah.
You know the name of the ballpark?
Target Field. Target Field.
Target Field.
Tom, who gets the point there?
Joe gets the point.
Okay.
God damn it.
Joe gets the point. All right, so you guys, Joe's got 1K, Corey's got 2Ks, and we still don't know who hit the go-ahead 3-run home run for the Yankees.
All right. So those
Crazy
two.
Beltran was in the game, by the way.
Yes, he was.
McCann.
No,
It is not Brian.
I'm sure
McCann.
it's Rick.
Corey's K'd out.
Was it Ellsbury who hit the home run?
Incorrect.
It was not Ellsbury. Is Joe
One more,
out?
Joe. No, he's got one more.
Who's a random Yankee from? It's not going to be an easy one, I'm sure.
Well,
Chris
the
Young.
first one is not Chris Young. It is
No.
another Yankee of famed, another famed moment that might come up. It is one John Ryan Murphy.
I would have never.
Whoa.
I had no shot of getting that.
You did not. I didn't know if Rich was going to note off the top. That one was a little more for Rich. A-Rod, I think, it was a bit of a layup that I blew the whole target thing. I bring this moment up all the time. It was a very special day for me. My now wife and I got engaged this day.
Oh, wow.
A-Rod proceeded
Look at
to
that.
celebrate our love.
That's why he loves
Hit
A-Rod.
3 home runs for me, and that's just the kind of guy A-Rod is.
Look
at it.
That's it.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know if the silhouette photo did it for Joe's guest there on Alex Rodriguez, because he does
This
have
is
a
the
very
second.
familiar swing right there. That's his second home run. There's Aaron Hicks out there.
Look at dumbass Hicks.
No,
What a
I mean,
dumbass
there's
Tom.
only so
He's
many.
going over Aaron Hicks' head.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I got excited. We're talking about A-Rod here.
There's only so many guys where you would term it final 3 home run game in 2015. So it was either him or Teixeira.
Yeah, listen, I might have given some stuff away there, but look at this one. Tie
This is
game.
nice. It's tied the
Yeah,
game.
I wasn't
here.
gonna get John Ryan Murphy. I was
Nah.
not.
It is
Probably
kind of
not.
crazy though. Now, like
Could have been
putting all
J.R.
the
Murphy at that point.
pieces together here, Tom. But we're gonna see John Ryan Murphy come up here, and that's exactly who was traded for Aaron Hicks when the Yankees brought in Aaron Hicks. So
Also,
it's so weird how this game works, right?
to ruin a future defining moment, the one to catch the last ball thrown by Mariano Rivera. John Ryan Murphy.
Man, that ball just had legs on it. Man, it did not look like it was getting out off the bat.
I did like John Ryan.
I think he was surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice little third string catcher he was, but brought in a great Yankee there, Thomas, in Aaron Hicks, of course. So that is the defining moment for the Yankee side.
So
2 points
pissed
to
at my-
Joe. So Corey Favs, yeah, you're an idiot. But Corey Favs, you have our next defining moment. Let's throw it over to you.
Yeah, I wanted to do something close to a trading deadline coming off a great week last week. So I was looking up Mets walk-off wins right around a deadline, and took us back to 1998. So this year the Mets actually acquired Piazza, but it was before the deadline, a little earlier in the year. So a day following the 98 trade deadline, Mets starting pitcher blank was in line for a complete game loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers by giving up an 8th-inning unearned run to blank, who happened to also be a future Metropolitan. In the 9th inning, Matt Franco, I didn't put that name in there. That would have been a bad one. Hit a game-tying home run, which would soon be followed by a walk-off RBI double by this player.
I can tell you now. So again, worked with Corey on this. The only thing I do know about this, working with Corey, is the final part of it. The first two I do not know. So I actually will take a stab at this. For the Mets starting pitcher.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to throw Al Leiter out there.
No.
Is not Al Leiter.
Thank God you did, and I did not.
Yeah.
Let's go with the unearned run, Sean Green of the Dodgers.
Not Sean Green. I like the guess.
Might have been early for Sean Green.
Might have been a little early.
How about for the unearned run future Mets player? Let's go with Todd Hundley.
Not Todd Hundley. Todd Hundley was actually a Met in this game.
Oh,
how about Gary Sheffield?
Not Gary Sheffield.
Ooh. All right, I got to switch up the player here. Let's go starting pitcher. This is my last guess, but
I'll get Joe out of the way here.
he's my favorite. Rick Reed.
It is Rick Reed as the starter.
My God, you're the biggest cheater who's ever
third
in this
point.
game.
No, come on. I know Rick Reed. Rick Reed was traded for Richard Hidalgo, I believe.
Rick Reed thing is the opposite of today's Met stars, where he just went deep in every game.
I don't know if Corey was playing us, but the unearned run, I'm gonna say is Todd Zeal.
Ooh, I like the guess. It is not Todd Zeal.
Oh, when you said Todd Hundley, I thought maybe you were like it was another Todd. Okay.
Robin Ventura.
It is not Ventura.
Okay, 2Ks for me, 2Ks for Tom, 2Ks for Joe. But Joe's got a point.
I was gonna say it's the silhouette a giveaway, but you said you don't know the answer, so the silhouette can't be a giveaway.
So you got a Dodger.
Silhouette is the answer to the last part of it.
You have a Dodger future Met.
That's Edgardo Alfonso then.
Alfonso is the RBI double.
Fortunate that Joe is. Oh no, he wasn't K'd out because he cheated. Fuck.
No, if I cheated, I would have gotten the second. I would have got 2Ks on the second one.
Joe can go for the sweep here today.
Unearned run, Dodgers. Who's playing for
the Dodger?
98. That's a Met. If it's not Piazza, it's not Sheffield, it's not Hundley. Who's a Dodger in the 90s? I don't know the Dodger team that well in the 90s.
I have a guess, but I don't know if he's a Dodger. Corey, without giving anything away, like I did, or give it away because I gave away something. Is this like a notable player? Or like in these three questions, is this like an easy part, a hard part?
I will say everybody here knows his name.
Okay.
I feel like the only other Dodger I know was never a Met. I was just gonna say Adrian Beltre, but he was never a Met. But that's my guess.
It's early for Adrian Beltre too.
No, he was early 90s.
98. I don't think so.
Future Met.
I don't know if he was a Dodger.
Here. John Carlos Stanton 2-run home run. Yankees now have a 5.
Oh man, my video is delayed, so I just looked down. As
I'm just gonna throw it. Fernando Tatis Sr.
Not Tatis.
Okay.
That's a good guess.
I'll just throw out Moises Alou.
Not Alou. His name is still relevant in baseball today. It is Alex Cora.
Alex Cora?
It was actually his rookie season with the Dodgers.
I forgot Cora was a Met.
Always.
Yeah.
Adrian Beltre did come to the Dodgers, so you were correct there, Joe. And he was a Dodger. Was he in this game? I don't know. He only played 77 games that year. Could have been his debut.
Let's throw it to the moment here. We went to the very beginning of the whole thing. I gotta go back to where we were.
What's the date? What's the date of this game?
August 1st,
1998. August 1st, 1998. We should be coming up on the moment shortly. It might be a pitch it might be 2 pitches in here, but there's Edgardo Alfonso there. Yeah, the silhouettes are like a secret hint in this game, and usually it's one of the bigger moments that happen. It's usually an encapsulating moment. They're at first base. Is that Hundley at first base there, Corey? Who's that at first base?
Hundley was in the game. I think Hundley did score.
Oh, look at that.
That might be Hundley who scored the run.
Base hit the left center field.
I gave away so much to Joe in this game.
And that's it.
I gave him the
Cigar
silhouette, I gave him the
Alfonso
picks.
wins it for the New York Mets. There's Al Leiter right there. And yeah,
Said,
that's
I'm
your
looking at
moment.
live first. That's not
All right.
So there you have it.
I
All righty.
call it.
That's the defining moment, and that is Empire State of Baseball, number 135. Let's call it a show, get around the room, and send our last licks out to the folks and our thank yous. Corey Favs, start with you, go to Joe. Tom, let's end this damn thing.
Listen, I need the Mets to find a way to win this game tonight. You come back down from 5-0. If they lose, this is a clone of Friday night's game.
Phillies up big. Schwarber hit his 40th home run of the year. The Mets need to win this game.
Adrian Beltre was in that game. I don't know how far it was into his career, but he played 77 games in 98, so it's definitely in the first few weeks of his career.
And that will do it for Empire State of Baseball. We'll see you next week. We'll see you in extra innings in a few over on X. But number 136, that'll be next Monday, August the 11th. And our subscriber giveaway episode to be announced shortly. We'll see you next week. Take care.